And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome to Open Connection. I'm your host, Robert Pictou. Our show today comes to you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Tsimshian people. Baby New Year has been in existence since roughly 600 BC and came about originally in ancient Greece. Every year, the Greeks celebrated Dionysus, the god of wine and fertility, and this celebration would include parading a baby through the streets in a basket. On today's Open Connection, we open our archives to 2001 year-end review.
The days before I was... She's awesome.
Dan Hamhuis in the penalty box for holding. Sweden on the power play. They are 0 for 2.
You know, you have a big responsibility of making the team representing your country at a world-class event like that. So, when I made the team, I just tried not to think about it and concentrate on the hockey.
We took the position we weren't going to trade jobs off for power, and we were strong on that, and the community as well deserves a thanks. Because they stood strong too to protect the jobs in the community and give credit where credit's due. Alcan and BC Hydro, they did in fact sit down and find an alternate solution.
We all worked together, the unions, the regional district, the district of Kitimat, the city of Terrace, and the Chamber of Commerce. They all work together, and to me it proves what we can do when we all stick together.
I think it's really positive for Kitimat, and I commend Alcan and BC Hydro for the work they did to get to this resolution.
It's quite an attraction, and to receive such short, no notice at all, and no explanation why. It was pretty hard to deal with, to the point where I just say, if that's the way business goes, I'm going to take it down. I'm just going to walk away from it.
This weekend we had Pontiac World of Skiing that they're coming to film a show here. It's on every weekend. It's a half-hour show, and they go around mainly big resorts. It's the first time they do a small area, and we are very fortunate that they are here in Smithers.
I own all this stock here. I manage to sell enough each month to pay the bills, and there's nothing left for me. So it's just simply a case it's not a viable business anymore, so I'm going to go and try something else.
What we've been able to accomplish with this reconditioned machine is bring the service to the community with a machine that is going to be more than adequate to do what we need it to do, as well as expand the department at the hospital, and we'll going to wind up with 2 assets for the price of 1.
Increasing numbers of scientists are saying that these numbers are probably way off, and that there's been a gross overestimation of the number of grizzly bears.
It seems to me that any decision this close to an election is based more on a knee-jerk emotional reaction than it is based on science.
We're given the option for Prince Rupert passengers as an alternate to fly instead of Air Canada. Our prices are lower. It also gives expanded service, and hopefully if this works out, if people are taking to our service, we'll expand it for the summer and until further notice.
It's about representing Skeena and Victoria, not Victoria and Skeena. In order to do that properly, you've got to be profile, you've got to be out there where you're talking to people, and you've got to get a good feeling for what the concerns are, and I think that's missing.
With the increases, it is very dramatic for them. Senior citizens, people on low income, they just have no way of making it up. And that's why I think we really should address how we as a society are going to cope with these increases.
Well, we've had some positive responses already from them. I think there's interest in coming into Prince Rupert. The lack of a facility has been the big barrier to date, but now that we have a plan for the development of a dock, hopefully we'll begin getting down to securing some port calls.
Everywhere that we've said that we might go, the same thing has happened. The costs are lower in Smithers, they're lower in Rupert now, they're lower in Terrace. I could announce an Air Canada seat sale right now by saying that we're going to go to Sandspit. We're not putting a dent in Air Canada's traffic out of here. What we're doing is we're increasing the number of people that are coming through this airport. And that's good for everybody.
I really think it's important that the students get out and experience firsthand what it is like out in the work world.
Right now I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, I used to, for the last couple days I've been pretty stiff. I can hardly move around. But this morning I got up and I'm feeling fine.
The CMO carpet building was totally destroyed, and we were able to save the houses on either side of the building.
I think Mr. Campbell must reconsider the position that he has taken along with his party with respect to the holding of a referendum on treaties in British Columbia.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Thank you for staying with us. The phrase, April showers bring May flowers, is a popular saying often used during the month of April. This typically is the time when the last bit of snow turns into all rain as temperatures climb, and increased rain shower activity sparks the beginning of flowers and plants to really start blooming. Let us return to the archives and resume our journey in April 2001.
I'm not sure how forest companies get to sign off on provincial or land owned by the people. I'm rather concerned that a government in its last days of its mandate are creating vast tracts of parks and reserves, which, I mean, the outcome may not be wrong, but certainly the decision process has to be suspect.
Chris Joyce from the World Bank had called me at 9:35 in the morning, right before I was to come to school, and had told me about this award, and I literally cried.
Basically, we have given and given and given. We can't give anymore. They said we have a shorter work week. Yes, we got that. But half the time we're being called in to work on that, that day that they say they gave off to us, and that's happened across the province.
Show us the money! Show us the money!
There's a lot of major civil works that have been completed on the site. Some of it's invisible because it's all the underground services that have been completed. We're now doing rock blasting in preparation for the tankage that will go on the site.
This is the same weed that has infested Tai Lake and Lake Kathleen and a number of other lakes. And it can get extremely thick, so it's quite a concern that the environment has changed here for some reason. Perhaps it's been brought in by boats, but certainly the conditions could be right for it really spreading.
And I can promise you this. I can promise you this. After May the 16th, when you elect Roger Harris as your next MLA, Skeena will never be forgotten again.
We will fight to make sure that there is no referendum in British Columbia on the rights of minorities such as the First Nations.
It's just been a really long journey to get here. We've done a lot of fundraising and a lot of playing over the last year to raise the funds to go. And now that it's all coming together, they're just totally excited to be going on tour.
So we had a lot of fun collecting money, and I know the dollar out there was tough to get because there were so many participants this year, but I must say in our department and in our area, it was fun to go after all the people and see who would be the first to get someone's pledge.
I'm here with Bulkley Valley Stacane's new MLA, Dennis McKay. Dennis, how are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm obviously very excited and very pleased with the numbers tonight. The numbers were slow coming out, and it's always a little bit of a concern when you try to second guess the electorate, what they're doing, but now that the numbers are in, I'm very pleased.
The brand new MLA needs to become very familiar with the process, how to translate the ideas and visions that I have for Skeena and that are shared, I think, by a lot of other people into reality. And if the question today is, how do I do that? I don't know. But you know, that's the first hurdle I think I have to get past, and get past it very quickly.
I think that people wanted to see jobs and opportunities created in the North Coast, and they wanted to see honesty in government, and that's what we're going to provide.
I must confess that about 6 months ago I was at zero, but we managed to elect 3 New Democrats, and I think that they will at least provide an opposition in the House to what is an overwhelming Liberal victory.
We were opening the town up for firefighters from all across the province.
to come in and get some practice in their trade. We are rotating firefighters through here on a 4-day basis.
It is official. Kitimat's Methanex operation has announced it will reopen its facility on or around the 1st of July.
So that's good news for Kitimat. It's good news for our people here at Kitimat. The bad news is we do not have a new contract with PNG yet, so we have to go back and negotiate with PNG.
For them to curtail production in the plant and to sell power, whether it be the 140 megawatt agreement or the additional 115 that they're talking about now, is in fact contrary to the 1950s Industrial Development Act for the reason they have the use of our natural resource water.
We really tried to talk to all levels of the government, and we got responses that were, we're very interested in new ideas, we're interested in creative solutions, but when it comes down to it, nobody can budge any of the guidelines. You know, in Prince George there was a crisis and it took them less than a week to come up with $10 million.
Hollywood actors Al Pacino, Robin Williams, and Hilary Swank have all dropped anchor in Stewart to star in the movie Insomnia.
I felt increasingly uncomfortable and just not, it wasn't working for me. And I don't think it's working for the party. And I see the party going downhill.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
Welcome back to Open Connection. July is the 7th month of the year in the Julian and Gregorian calendars. It was named originally by the Roman Senate in honor of Roman General Julius Caesar in 44 BC, being the month of his birth. Let us return to the archives as we look back to 2001.
Why are you having so much fun?
Because we get candy and stuff.
Oh yeah, it's wicked! What was your favorite part? They're giving you candy!
It was very heavy smoke. It was extremely dark, black. It was laying low in the street. First Day Engine Company, it was very difficult for them to even find which building was involved, and we had thick black smoke laying right at street level, right down to the corner of Lake Elsa and Calum Street.
That Alcan is still on a day-to-day, month-to-month, year-to-year basis investing a tremendous amount into the economy of northern British Columbia, and for this foreseeable future we will continue to do that. So it's also important to appreciate what we are doing.
With respect to Robbie Bell being the two-time Canadian champion, it was just, in more ways than one, it was just a great challenge. And until we had him out of the barn, it didn't feel like all the work was, it was building up on me and stuff. But now that we have him out, I've got a lot of satisfaction.
Well, it's finally arrived, July 8th, 2001, after 7 years of dreaming.
So it's quite a day of excitement. It's also historic for the Nisga'a Nation to be witnessing what is happening. A lot of the young people that you see today are not aware of our culture, what our culture is. It's almost forgotten.
We're not going to put any more money in Skeena, so quite frankly, if we can't find a private sector investor, then the other option is to close down the mill in Prince Rupert.
Ingrid Oder of Germany had never held a rod in her hand before, but her name could be part of West Coast fishing lore for years to come.
At 11 o'clock we had a fish. I didn't saw him, just the bite on the fishing rod. My husband, he goes and said the hook, yeah, and give it to me, so I work.
These are Upper Bulkley Chinook. Genetically unique in BC, they've adapted to the local ecosystem. A once dwindling stock is now thriving.
It's a fantastic return. Like, we've counted over 3,000 spawners. We figure there could be even twice that many in the system. And so it's by far the best Chinook return we've ever seen.
You stand here long enough, you'll hear bits and pieces still grinding down from up on top. the overall height of material has come down. It came down from a height of about, 100 feet up there. And right now we have about 6 to 8 feet of material on the trail.
When we first conceived the whole service, we thought Rupert, Terrace, and Smithers would be our ideal operating area. We'd always wanted to include Smithers in this. Of course, with one aircraft, there's severe limits on what we could do.
Why are we being singled out as a conservationist scapegoat? If opportunities are being given to all the other fleets, if they're being given to the Aboriginal, recreational, and the net fleets, why are they singling out the trawlers?
It's been so wet and cold, and it's not camping weather. But you take a nice one weekend we had, 1 week that was hot, and we had to put the full sign out for the first time this year. So it is weather related, whether people camp.
Open Connection will be right back after these messages. And now, from the CFTK-TV studios, this is Open Connection with your host, Robert Pictou.
On his first day as Federal Aviation Administration National Operations Manager, Benedict Cellini gave an order to land every plane in the air over the U.S. at the time, effectively shutting down U.S. airspace. In this final segment of Open Connection, we return to the archives to September 11th, 2001.
I am just totally shocked. I can't believe it happens to these people, and I feel so sorry for those families, and what's just loss of words.
It's really incomprehensible for me for any group to report themselves as religious when they have so little concern for their own lives and other lives.
Sheer terror and pain, and I don't understand why. I don't know anything about those people over there. I don't know why they would do anything like this, and I'm very upset, and I'm ready to re-enlist and go take care of the problem.
Looking at the candles that we've lit and realizing that the smoke and the flames coming off of my candle are the same that burned today in New York and in Washington, and that flames and smoke can take on many forms. And the form I'm seeing here tonight is a beautiful one, and one of hope.
When I arrived this morning, I just seen the barge was upside down, and I'd heard they overloaded it with too much sand, and too much water got on one side, and it flipped over, I guess.
Actually, today I feel great, and kind of in excitement because of hitting terrace, knowing that I am accomplishing something for all them hurting people out there.
This wouldn't happen in downtown Vancouver, nor would it happen in downtown Prince George. Leave a hole in here in the middle of our downtown core when $2 million has been spent on getting this project done.
Trying to get some answers from the government as far as why or what's happening and what's not happening, if the mill is going to be running or not running, and what the outcome is going to be.
Don't have a clear picture of the legal position we're in, but we do have a clear picture of the moral position we're in, and I think it is up to the provincial government and the TD Bank to take a look inward and figure out how this event happened and figure out a way to clear it up, because there are some very angry people that feel like they've been lied to. It's not even the same situation as last time. Last time we knew we were out there taking a chance, and I don't think there was anybody demanding give us our money. There was hard bargaining on the CCAA front. But this has nothing to do with that. We were made promises, and we want those promises kept.
So we don't want any finished product leaving here until we're assured that outstanding bills are going to be paid and our stumpage is going to get looked after.
We worked for Skeena Cellulose this year, and we were told that there's guaranteed money. We wanted forward payment, but they said not to worry about it. It's the government. You'll get your money.
At present, there is an agreement in principle between Mercer and the province.
I guess what the mayors are really doing here is demonstrating how important Skeena and the related operations are to the communities, and I wish them well in pursuing this investment partnership.
We need Gordon Campbell and his cabinet to relook at their plan, that it's not effective. A balanced budget should not be done on the backs of working people and on the services that have been provided for people.
What we did formally was to reduce teacher assignment by 5%. In other words, we feel that they're functioning at about 95% of a reasonable expectation of their full job level. That does correlate to a 5% reduction in wages and benefits.
The purpose of today's rally was to make very clear to the board that teachers are extremely angry about what they've done.
I'm really concerned about Mercer because the kind of negotiations that they have going on with the province don't give me the kind of satisfaction that says we're coming in to help the region.
I don't see anything in the questions that we established through the referendum treaty process. I don't see any questions that should be upsetting. I think that they will find that people generally are very generous.
So it's a great pleasure to unveil the memorial today to Mr. Campbell.
We looked at the Mercer proposals. I don't think it fits the needs of the Northwest, the people of the Northwest and the people of the province.
Our credit union feels that the Northwest group's proposal is very interesting. I'm hoping to talk to the community about NWBC's business plan, what we stand for, the kind of investment that we feel is absolutely essential to put back into Skeena to give it a long-term future and put it back on a competitive footing for the long term.
I've certainly encouraged Dan to resubmit. He knows where the shortcomings were in his last offer. At the moment, I couldn't support his exclusiveness because I think that in that regard we really would put aside all of the negotiations that have gone on with Mercer.
We have services that are primary services and prevention services that we want to focus on to raise the health status of the citizens in the Northwest, because our status is below the provincial average.
We're looking at cutting some sports. We'll take a look at that once we get down to the final crunch on the deadline. So we're hoping that people from the sports themselves come out and bill it for us.
The CIBC building in Terrace is the newest mural canvas. Niska artist Randy Tate has painted a raven. Given the hot weather, the raven is quite apropos. Niska legend dictates the raven brought sunlight to the world.
It brightens it up. These blank walls, bare walls around town here. And it looks really good. This one here, I started on it Friday morning, and I finished before the hot spell too, which is good because it's very hot out here today.
When finished, the two murals on either side of the raven will depict logging scenes. To the left, a painting of logging in the early 20th century. On the right, a picture of modern logging. One of the artists says, even though the work isn't done, public feedback has been great.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Open Connection. The greatest distance in the existence of man is not from here to there, but the connection from his mind and heart. If we can conquer that distance, we can soar like an eagle and realize our immensity within. I'm Robert Pictou.